Benjamin, take it away.
putting so much pressure on them, and they would just wait around for red team to engage, and they were controlling the entire match there. We'll see what goes on now the teams are swapped. Now, HCHS looks to be pulling out the Widow again on attack. Widow is better on attack than defense generally, so we'll see what they do. And Simba's not gonna be on Widow. He's going McCree. With a Junkrat, they have heavy spam at the choke, but they still can't peek much with the Widow, so they gotta play those sight lines. Very, very broadly comp overall by generals, with a Roadhog, Junkrat, McCree, and Reinhardt. Against the dive comp that ACHS is running, it's going to struggle. And additionally, on the dive comp on ACHS's side, we have Elusive Ship on Reaper, which generally is not the best pick with dive, but we'll see whether he can play it out. They don't have any mobile DPS heroes to carry through with that dive. So can they assassinate quick enough before the counter dive comes in with a Roadhog hook or McCree flashbang?
Incoming in 30 seconds.
The D.Va is going to have immense value here, countering both the McCree and Junkrat, and Roadhog, and the McCree and the D.Va is going to need to play on that Winston constantly for him to live more than a second. See, the match is opening. The match is starting, and let's see if Ali on Widow can get an early pick here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Winston bubble goes down already, so they have to wait a few seconds before going in. They seem to be going top left. Ollie, a lot of choke going down the top. Will he get a pick? They seem to be going around. Let's see, the dive should be starting soon. They're waiting around. Ollie's now on the high ground on balcony, and Winston dives in, but Winston gets bursted. The D.Va wasn't on him fast enough. Will this be a quick team fight? Red team's slowly pushing up, and blue team's needing to retreat. Ollie gets a pick on Simba. That's huge. Ooh, Elusive Ship unfortunately dies in that small room. With the Junkrat there, you just can't go there. It's too risky. And blue team slowly backs up. Now, if they go, now they have to go in very soon. Simba's still not there, so it's a 5v6 for them, but will they take advantage of this? Let's see. Humpty as Winston's going back to spawn, maybe changing as Reinhardt. Let's see what he does, or just for healing. Seems to be just for healing. Oh, D.Va gets hooked. D.Va's going out of mech immediately. Winston bubble going down. They can't defend themselves. They have to back up, and they're just hoping Ollie gets a pick. They're stuck at choke here, and they just can't push past with the constant pressure that's going on General's team. Reaper gets killed by Zen, and they're just pushing back, and they seem to be staggering themselves and separated. We got D.Va and Ana at the choke, Widow on high ground, and then Winston and Mercy seems to be in this alleyway here. Will they switch off Winston? I just don't think dive is working here. With the Reaper and Junkrat, they just have no one to dive with, and the D.Va needs to just constantly be on the Winston for him to switch. I think switching to an Orisa comp might be valuable here, try to win the shield battle against Reinhardt, but even that's difficult because of the high damage. Winston goes in. Will he die? D.Va's protecting him. They got a nano on D.Va. Simba's on high ground behind, high nooning. Junkrat tires. Ooh, that's a triple kill as a high noon. That's huge. Elusive Ship gets a kill on Simba, though. Junkrat behind, doing work, but can really be punished? He does die. The Rhine charge launches on Esso. Tier. Esso's out of mech. It's only one more person, it's Zenyatta. Can they kill him? Roadhog's coming back. Roadhog got a hook on D.Va. Then Sock is back on Junkrat, putting crazy amounts of damage, but Elusive gets an ult off. Kills Sock, but that's about it. Will this be a cap? It looks like a clean cap there. And it's Stag on Zenyatta. No, Zenyatta gets away, getting a kill on Ana. Now, in terms of ults, we have Reinhardt ult on the Generals team, which is pretty big, and since ACHS does not have a shield to block that besides Winston bubble, they have to play around these corners very carefully. Winston, additionally, on the ACHS's side, they have Junkrat ult, which with Simba, he can eliminate it, but if used correctly, it could get a lot of kills. Massive shatter, 4-man shatter, but can they go in? No, Ollie gets a huge junk tire, 2 people. Winston jumping up on the Pharah. Ooh, Simba doing high nooning. Great sleep there by Flexi on the McCree, and ultimately going down. And this seems to be a pretty solid win for ACHS in the second point. Will Generals be able to contest? It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, that second point's going down onto the third. Oh, will they get there on time? No, General's given up. Simba now switched to Soldier, which makes it Soldier's far more difficult to dive, so the dive will get punished even more now than previously. The Pharah's pick is also putting a lot of pressure since ACHS does not have any form of hit scan on their side. Humpty's taking a lot of damage here. Ooh, the Mercy, Mr. Mango pulling out the Mercy ult. But they don't seem to be going in too much about it. They're playing it very passive. Generals is putting out a lot of pressure. The Pharah just killed 3 people. Sock killing 3. Elusive gets a kill, but ultimately is most likely going to go down here. Will they be able to push any further? No. General's team quickly backs up for the next fight. In terms of ults, we have Ana ult ready and Reaper ults coming up, so we might be able to see a combo here. Additionally, Junkrat ult on Ollie could be very powerful as seen for the last team fight. On the Generals team, we got Soldier ult, and they really don't have any long-range tools to punish Soldier, so as long as he's on high ground, if he can be in the far back high ground, he can get a lot of value. Pulling out the jug tire, it's going up. Will it get a kill? It gets a triple kill. Violent, Simba, and Sock going down. Elusive ship ulted as Reaper, but quickly went down to the Roadhog. Massive anti-nade there by Flexi on the Roadhog. Shadow by Reinhardt, but no follow-up. I think this looks like a win for ACHS. Will Generals be able to contest? They're nano-visoring here with Simba. Getting 1 kill, getting 2 kills, getting 3 kills? Simba cleaning up the fight, and it looks like it's a regroup for the blue team. They still have that nano boost, which they can do next fight. I would say most likely nanoing. They'll probably nano Winston or Diva here, considering there's no DPS ults coming up too soon. On the blue team, on the Generals team though, they used almost every ult on that fight. They have no ults to defend against, and we'll see whether ACHS can punish that. Winston uses his bubble here, so they won't be able to go in for a few more seconds until he waits for that bubble again. Just long-range poke battle, which they honestly need to go in with this ult advantage. Diva ult to go in, let's see. They seem to be going back around inside this small room area, but against a Pharah, I don't know if they can handle that. Just too much damage going in. Ollie ulting, but not getting a kill with it. And General's team's very low. Reinhardt dies. Ana backed up to full. I think this fight's just going to be a stalemate again. They get 2 kills on Humpty and Elusive. Ollie's going down. And interesting that they used Pharah ult here, but to clean up. They would have been able to do without an ult, but it guarantees a cleanup, and they still have 2 ults. They have Soldier ult, Simba, and Zenyatta ult with Magi. Ana's also approaching ult, so we might see another nanovisor here. For that nanovisor, ACHS needs to play around their Diva defense matrix, not let the Diva go out of mech here. But we'll see what happens. Humpty does have ult as Winston, so he can go in and make a lot of space here, and I think this is how they're engaging for this fight. They gotta go in, though. This constant poke at the chokes just will not go well for them, considering their own attack. Humpty goes in. The visor's popping on top, though. Diva's... Ooh! Massive hit by Elusive Ship on the Soldier. He quickly dies. Will this be a win for ACHS? Diva and Winston are going in. Zen ult counter. Oh, Reinhardt's in the back. Gets a shatter on the Winston. Winston taking a lot of damage here, but he's managed to peel out through Mr. Mango. Humpty's still living. They got a Bastion now, so massive damage coming out. They gotta punish that Bastion, else they won't be able to cap. This looks like a Bastion getting double kill, and they're just cleaning up the fight, and that's map 1 going to General's team, 2-3.
Time to raise my APM.
Overall, it was a pretty close map being 2-3. The main
of the
problem,
game.
though, was Generals just constantly was putting that pressure, having that tempo. It seemed like ACHS was constantly reacting, and while that could be a decent strategy, they needed to be on the aggressive there, being on attack with a dive comp. Massive ults, though, by Ollie, as we saw in the play of the game. Constant 2-mans and 3-mans, and that allowed them to get all the way to the third point. Onto the second map, we're pulling out Hollywood, which is another hybrid map. Well, it's another Widow map too, so we'll see if either team's going to be pulling out a Widow on this map. There's a lot of cheese potential too on this map, but it's not too meta, so I doubt they'll be pulling that out. Let's see. They seem to be They seem to be subbing currently. So for Hollywood here, it's the first point's generally the hardest to take, and we'll see whether the attacking team will be able to get through the choke. There's about 3 ways they can take. You can go through the back, take the high ground, or go through the front. And I'm interested to see what their playstyle is going to be. ACHS was running dive, so they might run dive again. Generals has been going deathball. We haven't seen them pull out a dive yet. I'd be interested if they do here. Dive is pretty good on this map, especially second point. With all the high ground, dive can take a lot of space. Well, they're pulling out. Let's see. So it might take a few more minutes for them subbing in. In the King's Row map, they just gotta dive, honestly, as ACHS needs to just be more aggressive. But let's see whether they'll be doing it during the Hollywood map. While we're waiting here, we're gonna be pulling in music for the audience, so be right back.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Here. Thank you, Brennan. So on the ACHS team, we see them pulling out a Hanzo. Will they keep that once the 15 seconds goes? It seems to just both teams seem to be going Reinhardt deathball comps here. So it looks like there's no dive action, which is understandable with the main choke point. Dive is still very strong on this map, but seeing from last game, Dive just was punished too much by the high damaging tanks such as Roadhog, and with Simba on Soldier/McCree, they were just punishing too hard. I still want to see Generals on that dive, want to see how they do, but if they're comfortable on Deathball, that works too. Great map for Deathball. They just want to hold the first choke here and care for the high ground. We got Pharah coming in, Simba on Pharah, which it's going to be up to both Ollie on Ana and Elusive Ship on McCree to handle that. Since they are running a Hanzo, the Pharah is going to be something to care for and might be able to shut down the Hanzo, but with a good McCree at Ana, will she get much airspace? We'll find out. ACHS is on defense here. It seems to be holding the high ground starting out, which is good. The main problem with it is it's very easy to get picked, but it doesn't seem like Generals is running a Widow to abuse this.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Will Sinatra Jr. on Hanzo get an early pick?
Defend objective.
He tries to go for it with the Mercy damage use, but unfortunately does it. Generals is quickly going in here. They do not have a Lucio, so they won't be able to go in too fast, but Zenyatta is honestly the pick. Very meta. Reinhardt goes down. They're charging in Ryan. He's down. Elusive Ships on high ground is being forced down. He's very low. Zarya's half. Reinhardt's about to... Mercy, 1 HP. I think that's cap. McCree going down next, and that's an early quick cap, same as next round. ACHS is quickly regrouping, but it seems like both Ollie and Elusive Ship got late spawn, so it's going to take a long time. Will Generals make space here and put pressure while they got late spawn? Reinhardt seems to be pushing up Windox, and Farah seems to be pushing up as well. Huge scatter by Sinatra Jr. on the Tracer. That will give them enough time to quickly regroup without the red team abusing the late spawns.
Let's keep it moving.
ACHS needs to start heading in since it's past the choke. They're up. They just got to pick on the Mercy. They need to start heading in. They're giving the red team too much space. Genji seems to be going behind. He gets anti-nated. He's half will die. Ollie destroying the Genji. Hanzo coming out, zoning them off point. In terms of ults, we do have the Rhine Shatter on the Generals team. So will we see that being pulled out? They're quickly just regrouping here, waiting for health. They got a little too low. But do care for the Rhine shield. Ooh, huge pick by Simba on the Hanzo. They're going in huge here. They gotta focus the Humpty shield so Windex can get a good shadow. Humpty goes down. Will this be a big shadow? They're pushing forward. Windex charging and gets a pin on Zarya. And they don't even need to shadow here. They're doing just fine. Simba on Widow again, doing work. Genji's still remaining. Will they be able to get the stagger? Sinatra Jr. trying to get away, but ultimately gets killed again by Widow. Will ACHS swap it up to deal with the Widow, or are they staying the same comp? Seems like they're staying the same comp here. We got both support ults on ACHS's side, but unfortunately no Zenyatta or anything to counter an ult. And with Windox still having that shadow, they just have nothing to do to react to it. They're nanoing Sinatra Jr. here, but with the Zenyatta ult, I don't know will he be able to get much kills. Mr. Mango gets kill as a Mercy on the Widow. Sock pulling out a Genji Blade. Going for Sinatra Jr. here, huge shatter. Sock finishing it off. Big res by Mercy here, but I think this might just be a bigger stagger. Massive shadow, but no one to follow up. Mr. Mango stilling on point. They can't kill him. He eventually goes down and they're pushing in. Massive stagger. Can they get the Genji? Sinatra Jr. trying to get away. Fire Strike lands. He goes down. Zarya trying to get away. Will they be able... Zarya seems to be getting away cleanly. They're focusing on that Ana. They're pushing up, leaving Violin as Ana on point. Violin here does have Nano Boost, and we'll see how he uses that. These anti-nades have been pretty big by him. And with a Nano, possibly on the... No ults to combo with, but even just a Nano, Zarya can put a lot of pressure. We do have Zarya ult and Zenyatta ult, and with the massive ult advantage that Generals has over ACHS, we'll see. They're most likely, ACHS is most likely going to Zarya Genji camp combo, but they have Zen ult. Zen ult's coming out. Ooh, they do a counter. Zarya ult does not get a kill. This seems to be a very close fight. Simba in the back, not getting contested at all. Sock gets a nice kill through Elusive Ship. Sock's unfortunately going down, and that's a hold for ACHS. This map is very difficult to play in this choke. There's only one entrance, and it's the main choke. There's no side angles, there's not much shenanigans they can do. They can come up behind, but that's about it, and even then, it's a limited line of play. Windox does have Rhine Shatter, but Humpty's coming up on Rhine Shatter too, so this is going to be Battle of the Shields. Windox seems to be taking far more shield damage though, which is pushing them far back. Huge pick on Windox there by ACHS. Will they go in and abuse this, or will they let Generals quickly regroup? ACHS just playing very passive here, which since it's defense they can do, but you can get some nice staggers if they decide to go in. But Generals is now back to 6. They're going in fast. A lot of ults. Will we see Sock ulting as an engage here? Sock's playing very aggressive. He's waiting out the Zen ult. Ali was forced to ult. Massive shatter. Zarya's down. Genji's down. Genji's being nano-bladed here. Getting a kill on Elusive Ship. Falling up. Will he get the kill on Zarya? He's going for it. Killing the Zarya. And the only person left is the Sinatra Jr. on Genji, but will he go down? Mercy goes down too. Sinatra Jr. goes down. And this seems to be a cap point. Pretty big shatter, but will they touch? Yes, he touched. Could this be the comeback? Zarya is about to get on point too. Zarya touching point, and quickly in the spawn rooms, Genji's coming out. Zarya finally got ult out before she died, but unfortunately they just can't get enough pressure with the staggering. It's unfortunate. Sinatra Jr. did have ult there, and he unfortunately wasn't able to pull it out with all the pressure they're exerting. Overall, though, we're seeing the same pattern on this map as seen in the last map. Generals just constantly has tempo, and ACHS is not doing anything. ACHS is always reacting, whether it's attack or defense. They're always waiting for Generals to do the engage part, which gives them a massive disadvantage, especially with a strat that's not counter dive or a reactionary strat. Will they be pulling out a Symmetra on defense here by Mr. Mango? Symmetra doesn't get much play in the pro scene, and overall, she's not super good in 6v6. However, against uncoordinated teams, she can get a lot of value, especially with her teleporter. They seem to be going out cheese here. Symmetra and Torbjorn with an Orisa, Roadhog. Mr. Mango switches to Mercy. Looks like they're not pulling out a Symmetra on this map. Unfortunate. I was excited to see what they were going to do with that Symmetra play. On the general side, we got a pretty standard default, comp here. Very similar to the comp they had in the last map, except Simba's on Soldier. High Bruiser, they just got to get in melee range, and they're just going to burst down the shields with the Junkrat. Elusive Ship is going to be on Widow here, and they're going to have to get those picks, because in any long-range battle, Generals is going to win, just with that Junkrat and Soldier shield pressure. ACH's comp is built around getting these short picks, so Sinatra Jr. needs to land these hooks, and Elusive Ship needs to get these picks, or else Generals is just going to put too much pressure on the shields and will get too much space.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Elusive Ship seems to be walking around. Will he get an early pick? He's taking the high ground, whereas the rest of the team is going inside the building. The red team, Generals, is confused where they are. They're quickly waiting, and the Generals is very confused. They're spamming junk. They finally found out where they are, and they're starting to push in. They're taking a lot of damage, though. Those junk. Yeah, Rhine Shield already down. Will Generals go in and take advantage of this? Zenyatta gets left behind and killed. They're coming up from behind, but it's a 5v6 here. Simba gets a kill on Widow, and this will be a one-sided fight. Simba gets a kill on Mr. Mango. Humpty lands a charge on the Roadhog, but he gets punished immediately, and this will be a stagger on Roadhog and Zarya.
I'm on fire. One of you was blood.
Now ACHS can quickly regroup here and go in and they might be able to get in before the Roadhog's back, but they don't have much time to work with, and I think the Roadhog's going to be back in time. So just a regroup. Windox has ult. Moira, Violin almost has ult. Violin's been doing a really good job with these value heroes. And we'll see. Moira ult can put a lot of pressure in the small chokes. On ACH side, we're approaching Hog ult. Yeah, Zarya just gets quickly picked. Humpty going in, this is his charge. and he's honestly going down. Violin getting an ult, shutting down Humpty and pushing the enemy team back. And Violin's ult is just pushing these enemies back, and Generals is taking space. This is the second map, and this is a best-of-3 series, so ACHS does need to cap this if they want a chance to win. Humpty does, both Reinhardts have ults here, so again, this is going to be battle of the Reinhardts. We'll see which one is best at landing that ult and baiting the other. Very engaging gameplay, a lot of mind tricks. Zenyatta's on high ground, but I don't think they're going to be able to abuse that, even though he's alone. Sock pulling out his junk ult. Will it get a kill? It's going behind. It's going greedy. It skipped Ollie. Ooh, he gets a kill on Elusive Ship. Interesting choice by Sock there, going for the greedy play, but ultimately it worked out and he landed it. Violent getting a kill on Sinatra Jr., Windex pushing in Humpty, Windex trying to push in Zarya here, and seems to be another clean wipe with no ults used. A lot of ults by both teams here. Zarya ult on ACH's side is approaching, but Magi does unfortunately have ult as Zenyatta, so ACHS is gonna need to bait out that Zen ult. Sinatra Jr. swap into Hanzo or Junkrat? Let's see what he's doing here. He's going to Junkrat, which makes it a more fair fight. They now have a chance to actually contest this choke. There was just too much damage coming out on General's side, and they weren't able to get the picks that were needed. Sinatra Jr. goes down immediately, and they're just being harassed in a choke. The Moira orb just sucked up so much of their health in that choke. But General's playing it safe here. Playing the slow game. Soldier is being forced down from high ground. He is low. And Zenyatta's being pressured too. Junkrat's contesting the high ground. Will he be able to get a pick? Sinatra Jr. Sock is very low. Simba gets a kill on Sinatra Jr. unfortunately. They're coming up from behind. The Shadow misses though. Simba uses ult and just zoning them out. And Magi using his ult. And I think that is game here. That's pretty much a team wipe, and they're not going to be able to touch. It doesn't look like it's Sinatra Jr.'s child. Oh, Sinatra Jr. gets shattered, and that is game. Good game, and 2-0 Generals ACHS. Overall, it was a pretty close fight between both games. Oh, but the biggest problem was just Generals constantly had tempo. ACHS was not playing aggressive enough, and they were it seemed like they were always not committed enough. They either needed to go all in and just die, or they just needed to play very fast. But instead, they would usually go in, but not all in enough to a point where they would put pressure. Generals just putting too much pressure for ACH to deal with. And honestly, this was a game of pressure. Overall, I think that is all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys have any questions regarding HSEL, feel free to drop by our Discord, discord.gg/HSEL, and ask questions there. And visit our website, highschoolesportsleague.com. I'm going to send it to Brennan now.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Again, like Benjamin said, if you did enjoy, be sure to follow this channel. We will be notified. You will be notified every time this goes live with some awesome HSEL content, whether that's one of our talk shows or some of our competitive games. Also, check out our partners down below on the screen. As you can see, we got Respawn, Discord, Twitch, Twitch Student, Nace, Be Recruited, all fantastic companies in themselves. If you guys want more information about HSEL, including how to sign your own school up, be sure to head over to www.highschoolesportsleague.com to get all the information that you need. Again, Benjamin, thank you for casting. My name has been Brennan Wright. We will see you guys in the next stream.